Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching the Nile Cruise, and we are going to talk now about an amazing event which took place in the 1st of November, which was the inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum. And we stand at the dawn of new cultural chapter in Egypt. The extraordinary rise of the Grand Egyptian Museum, or the GEM, draws visitors from every corner of the globe to come and visit the Grand Egyptian Museum. With crowds flowing in by thousands, this landmark space is proving that the story of ancient Egypt still captivates and that it now lives in a setting worthy of its greatness. And to shed more light on this topic, we are delighted to have with us Dr. Ahmed Sadeik. He's an Egyptologist. Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed, for joining us today in Nile TV International.
I'm so delighted to be here with you and to the delight of the Nile. And I'm tempted to share with you the beauty of the Nile and how in ancient Egypt, they had to find out when the Nile was about to flood and bring the silt for the mud and the lifeblood. Otherwise, they would have been nipped in the bud. The Egyptians had a clue. It came out of the blue, and it was true all the way through. The rise of Sirius, the Sirius star, alerted the Egyptians to the rise of the Nile flood. And that's why I say the rise of Sirius was a serious business in ancient Egypt. And with that Nile flow, I hope the news and the wonders of the gem are going to flow like the mighty Nile.
Wow, that's an amazing introduction.
Thank you.
Dr. Ahmed, I would like to know about your first reaction when you entered the Grand Egyptian Museum and saw the flood of visitors drawn to it.
Frankly, I was in tears.
Yes.
It's like this reconnection with my ancestor, with the ancient Egyptian, but also to see how the whole world was in awe of the ancient Egyptian.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't just hold my tears. Yeah, it's magnificence, it's nostalgic. Like Egypt is coming back.
Yeah. Dr. Ahmed, with queues forming from early morning and thousands arriving each day, what are the practical and emotional realities behind these crowds?
There is so much that we wouldn't do justice if we even try in the few minutes that we have. But let me take you back in time to ancient Egypt. This museum, for me, is the portal to ancient Egypt's genius past.
Yeah.
And I hope it will inspire, I'm actually sure, it will inspire us and the Egyptians to come back to that source, to this fount of knowledge. The Grand Egyptian Museum will light a fire under the Egyptians. Then they can be in harmony with the STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and you can add the A, and the art.
Yes.
So this is the grandiose museum.
Dr. Ahmed, I want to know the difference between the Egyptian visitors and international visitors. How do they react towards the Grand Egyptian Museum visit?
Well, it's hard to be stereotypical and generalize. However, we all know that many of the international guests are more prepared because this is a lifetime journey for many people. It's not like, like let's go to Egypt and then you go overnight. You might have been planning for your family, and even before starting a family. Now you have your children, even grandchildren, and then you plan this lifetime trip, saving up for people from all walks of life come here. You have scientists, you have Hollywood people, and you have scholars. But they come, but they have been preparing. And even without preparing, the school there are preparing them. They have magnificent curricula. When you go from day one, they are teaching them about Egypt, and they fall in love. And that's why when I have guests, Egyptian guests, but living abroad or like born, let's say in the States, they have a different attitude to the museum. Why? Because they have instilled in them this passion for Egypt. While we would like to catch up with this, I'm talking about many of the Egyptians, I suggest that we start having courses on ancient Egypt, history, art, architecture, science in ancient Egypt before sending our kids to the museum. That way we maximize the benefit. So when you walk into the museum, you walk like a student before Khufu, Khafra, Min Kawra. Tutankhamun is not just shining gold everywhere, the glint of gold. This specter, I mean, not the right word. This spirit from ancient Egypt is a teacher. It has been teaching the world for over 100 years, just talking about Tutankhamun. So now our kids walk into the museum like students before the teaching, before the teaching of the ancient Egyptians. So it's more respect, admiration, and ready to absorb the knowledge. So that's one of the key distinction between the two crowds. But whether you are prepared or not, you will be blown away and you're going to fall in love, and it will invite you to investigate. You see, even for those international tourists or our children, our brothers and sisters, our moms, when you walk in, you'll say, oh, I need to catch up with this amazing wave. Imagine like a mom walks in with her kids, an Egyptian mom with her kids, and then they look at a papyrus and then they say, wow, they were doing all these amazing things before Newton, Einstein. Here's like you can see the blueprint, the genesis of genius. So yeah, that applies actually to everyone. Look at a papyrus on fractions. Look at a papyrus and you see a kid with eyes wide at stars. This papyrus like a map, right? Charting the stars, the constellation. And wow, I mean, they are doing all of this ingenious mathematics, solving a puzzle before Rome, before Greece, before anyone. This is the dawn of science, the dawn of history. Maybe we can do the same. So we get this connection, and the museum can inspire not just people in art, but in all fields.
Yes, of course. Dr. Ahmed, as an Egyptologist, what's the specific part in the museum that attracts the tourists more?
Well, given the media even 100 years ago with the discovery of the boy King Tutankhamun, and remember I keep reciting those words from Howard Carter when he said, at first I could see nothing, the hot air escaping from the chamber, causing candle flame to flicker, but presently as my eyes grew accustomed to the light, details of the room within emerged slowly from the mist. Strange animals, statues, and gold, everywhere the glint of gold. Now I stop at the glint of gold. Everywhere the glint of gold. Yeah, I mean, this mass media for Tut created Tutmania, what we call Tutmania, not just Egyptomania and Tutmania. So people, yeah, usually, they make a beeline, so to speak. They make a beeline to this beacon. And this boy deserves a lot. I often say, we underestimate Tutankhamun, but he made history in antiquity. He's making history now. History 100 years ago, and now in New Egypt, in modern Egypt. Tutankhamun is making history. He's a great guy. Yes, a boy king, but he gave the ancient Egyptian hope, and he gave us hope 100 years and today. So this is a very mighty king, even though a boy king, yet a powerful king. He's an image of hope, and that's why it's kind of it was a destiny in the making. He retained all this gold, the irony of history. It is not Ramses who retained his tomb, which was thoroughly looted, right? And so far we haven't discovered Khufu. I'm actually inclined to believe that Khufu is still hidden, and one day we might discover the intact tomb of King Khufu. And on that day, let me break the news, we are going to build a grander museum, because that would be from 10 to 100 times Tutankhamun. So yeah, so tourists and almost everyone, they gravitate to Tutankhamun. But once you are, yeah, well, not once, it actually takes time to take in that shock, like this amazing splendor. Like when Ahmed Shawqi, the poet when Ahmed Shawqi, the poet laureate, Shakespeare of the Arabs, a man whose intuition earned him his tuition, which led to his phenomenal fruition. This Shakespeare of the Arabs says, ذهب ببطن الأرض لم تذهب بلمحته القرون. Like this gold over the centuries, unblemished and shining. You know, there are those who attended the moment of discovery. They say, even that splendid mask was even more shining because it has some debris, detritus of dust, not dust, yeah, golden dust. So it was even more shining. Like today we enjoy such like makeup. Makeup can be very amazing, but that was golden makeup. Imagine, yeah. So you get into this. Of course, he's attracting the world. But then beyond that, the museum abounds with splendid objects. That's an understatement when you say an object, a masterpiece. And you know why we say a master? Because those were carved by the masters, the masters of the art and the craft. It's not the apprentice. We had the apprentice system. It's wonderful because you start early on until you reach the climax, the apex, the pinnacle, and then you become the master. And those are all masterpieces, and they are not replica even. So we have the original masterpieces. So beyond Tut, there are so many masterpieces all over this museum, let alone the view of the Great Pyramid. So that's
Yes, Dr. Ahmed, we've seen on social media lately the AI videos about the stolen monuments, Cleopatra in Germany, and a lot of stolen monuments all around the world. Do you think that the countries can return these monuments to us?
Well, I happen to have a completely different view on this topic than many people. And I believe that many, if not all, because it cannot be all, I don't like to generalize in the universe of discourse, that's too philosophical. Okay, to cut through to get to the point, that is, we cannot concentrate all our treasures in one place. Even though, and I've said that to world media already, we cannot concentrate all our treasures in one place. It's not we cannot, we should not. That's what I mean. Why? Even though I believe, as an Egyptian, proud Egyptian, Egypt is the safest and most safe, secure land on the planet. No matter what happens, no matter when we have like temporary chaos or upheaval, but this is like just a split second in our long, glorious history. So that's nothing. But Egypt is the most stable, glamorous, secure, strong country on the planet. Forget the rest of the world, period. However, it is not wise, it's unwise to concentrate the treasure in one place. And if, God forbid, something goes wrong, you lose too much. That's one point. B, suppose you have Tutankhamun next to Nefertiti, who is an equally important icon, from the same era, by the way, right? The same family, the same great golden dynasty, Tutankhamun. Yeah, it's the same family. It happened to be great people. See, great minds think alike, produce amazing things. And we already have infinite crowds waiting to catch a glimpse. Imagine if you double that or triple that. We are making a great effort, and I salute and greet the amazing Egyptian men and women at the gem and all of Egypt taking charge, right? And protecting and showing the splendor. But imagine if you multiply those treasures, like you have Nefertiti, then you have the Rosetta Stone. Each one of those have their own multitude of crowds. If you have millions in a single spot, that's not feasible. That cannot be accommodated. So you would want dispersion. And when I speak of dispersion, all over Egypt and all over the world. Now, those treasures, the masterpieces dispersed around the world, they are our ambassadors. Nefertiti, I think of her not taken against our will. I think we are mighty enough to return anything if we want. But I prefer to see her as our ambassador. We're not even paying for that. We're not paying for her security, for her safety, for the tourists that are being accommodated there. She is treated with dignity. If God forbid she's not treated as should, yeah, we can return her immediately, but she's not. Germany knows how to treat an Egyptian royalty, and they do very well. So she's our ambassador there.
Okay. Dr. Ahmed, looking ahead, what features or experiences would you like to see developed at the gym to keep renewing the attraction for repeat visitors?
I can see the Grand Egyptian Museum rising up, as always, to that name. So with grand exhibitions of science and technology, bridging the past with the present. So now all our kids, we cannot imagine all the Egyptian people and the world visiting the museum to get inspired just about the past. So as I have mentioned, they will get into the STEM and the STEAM. You will never run out of STEAM when it comes to ancient Egypt. So you will have the science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics all rolled into one through exhibitions that shows you that how the ancient Egyptians ruled in mathematics, in technology, in art, all of this. Now they can do it again. You can see how in a papyrus they were doing stitches, they were doing surgery, all of this. Oh, we can do it too. because those are our families. They did it. We are the continuation. So that's the kind of exhibition I expect in our museum, so inspiring the kids to get into the field that matter, that will build Egypt.
Or about young Egyptians, Dr. Ahmed, they were inspired by the gym's opening. What advice would you give them?
I advise our children and families to go back not just to the museum but to the libraries and start reading about the great Egypt. That way they can connect more when they see the museum, because they will be inspired to become scholars, mathematicians, musicians, artists, singers, and all the great men and women of the past, but now in the 21st century. So this is a foundation. So the museum, as I call it, it is the great pyramid of Egyptology. It's a new great pyramid. This is the new great pyramid. But it's more invaluable than the original, than the great pyramid of Khufu, because this is a great pyramid of science, of technology, of inspiration. It will inspire our kids and the world to build. So this is the pyramid of construction, of civilization, of inspiration. You walk in and you are transformed. You are out and you completely changed human being. You start a new, you carve your trajectory, you carve your way of living into science, into art. So this is a transformative experience. This is what I expect of the Grand Egyptian Museum. It's a foundation of civilization. قواعد المجد. The foundations of glory.
Yes, of course. Dr. Ahmed Sadeik, thank you very much for joining us today in Nile TV International.
Thank you so much. It has been a great pleasure in this momentous moment.
Thank you, Doctor. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a short break. I will be back.